So there's something that's on my mind that I really want to discuss, and before I start discussing this, I'm going to apologize to how far away my phone is from me. It's the only way I could get it set up to where it's in one singular area and stationary, and actually does a good job facing me. So instead of leaning back like this, I'm actually going to lean forward. If you all noticed from my last vlog, all this is gone, this is gone. Kind of baby-faced now, and I'm going to take my glasses off because I just realized that the computer screen is reflecting in it, and I don't like that at all. There's one thing I want to discuss, and really one person I want to call out in particular for the type of videos that they're making and failure to see the big picture. And I hope it gets around to this person, which is why I'm going to tweet the link to this video and tag him in the tweet. And it has to deal with the Overwatch community. And one person in particular, Stylosa. I don't want this video to seem as a bashing video because that's not what this is about. This is about a general concern that I have as a subscriber to the channel who doesn't watch his videos anymore because of one thing in particular that Sty has become so obsessed with, and that is Overwatch competitive. Every single one of his videos has something about competitive in it. And that's all he talks about now. And it's not just, really it's not just that, it's the arrogance to say, you should only run, this is the way Overwatch competitive has to be played. And the fact that either unbeknownst to him, either he is blissfully unaware, or the fact that he's just ignorant enough that he doesn't know, or that he does know and he just doesn't care. That he speaks so much about getting rid of toxicity, he actually promotes it. How does he promote it, you ask? Well, every video about toxic players, there you go. There you go. There's the publicity right there for toxic players. Toxic players are finally like, oh, we're getting attention finally. Maybe we should continue to be toxic because this guy's going to talk about us and maybe the game will be changed to the way we want it changed to. And ultimately, that doesn't help the situation. That only encourages toxicity, in my opinion. The more and more you talk about trying to get rid of toxicity, trying to prevent toxic players from spreading their toxicity, it only adds fuel to the fire. You don't want people to be toxic? That's easier said than done. Especially when all you're concerned about is competitive. Go down to arcade, play quick play. People aren't as toxic there. But you're so obsessed, Sty, with competitive. And so now I'm addressing this video directly to Stylosa. So Sty, if you're watching this, you're so obsessed with competitive gameplay and ending toxicity. You're promoting it, whether you know it or not. And quite frankly, I think you're also, with the arrogance that you have, and I'm seeing arrogance in the whole competitive has to be a certain way. You have a mentality, whether you're intentionally trying to come off as, I think competitive should only be played this way, and that's my belief, and if you don't believe with me, you're wrong, or if it's unintentional. I don't know if it's intentional or unintentional, Sty, but you're starting to make people mad. and you're starting to have a smaller crowd really follow you. You know how I subscribed to Stylosa. So I subscribed to Sty because of Overwatch news. I like Overwatch, but I am not a competitive player. I hate competitive on there. I am not good at competitive FPS. I'm not. I don't play competitive FPS. I do what the majority of people do when they get on an FPS and they play quick play. Blizzard made the game with both non-competitive and competitive in mind. So Sty, why are you only covering what the minority of players play? Let's do some research here. And I'm going to move my camera just slightly, folks. No, I'm just going to leave it right there. As I said, I got it right on my computer, so I'm going to look these facts up right now. And it's not just as I was saying, you have multiple game modes in Overwatch. And the problem with only covering the smaller world of competitive, and this goes not only just for Overwatch, this goes for people who play or who cover games like Halo, Call of Duty, Battlefield, any other FPS game or any other game that is competitive, racing games, League, World of Warcraft, StarCraft. Shoot, if XCOM was big enough, XCOM could be competitive. But XCOM's not. When you cover only one aspect of the game, you can't really expect, as for some reason my cameras went dark on me. I'm hoping that's just my screen. So if the video has gone a little bit darker, I apologize. When you cover only competitive or only casual, there we go, you're kind of ostracizing the people who don't play it. And while Blizzard doesn't release the numbers, as I'm looking here on the Blizzard forums, and, hang on. Hopefully that, no, it didn't make my phone go brighter. Come on, phone. Hang on one second here. And that didn't help. So why cover only one aspect of the game, Sty? Why only cover the aspect which is so hyper competitive, and you got people so mad at each other because other people don't play a certain character that they want? Have you ever heard of anti-meta, Sty? Anti-meta is a thing where people who are good at a certain thing, at a certain character, a certain class, a certain deck, when it comes to trading card games, that can really throw off the meta. And this goes back to me saying that you're promoting toxicity whether intentionally or not. I don't think you're intentionally promoting toxicity, to be honest with you. I think you're blissfully unaware that you're promoting it. So it goes to say, with you saying only dive comp or only a standard comp or a meta comp should be used, where does that leave room for the anti-meta? The meta that, or the team comps that throw off the big dive comp builds or the big standard meta builds. The way you're saying it, the way you're promoting it, Sty, is as if we should not have an anti-meta. You want to make competitive great? You want to make competitive less toxic? Make every single character just as good or as bad as the next. Don't nerf one and buff another. And that can be said to Blizzard. Because I know for a fact, Stylosa, you're not in charge of the ballot of what we racers, because I'm a competitive online esports racer. I'm not the best. I'm a Joe average, but that's where my competitive spirit is. Not in the FPS stuff, but as a racer, it's what we call a balance of performance. I know you're not in charge of that. You're not in charge of the character balance. So I'm not saying that's what you should do. I'm just saying maybe you're so influential that you can say, hey, Blizzard, why don't we do this? I think it's a good idea. But the problem is, Sty, you cover Overwatch competitive way too much. That you're ostracizing, again, whether intentionally or unbeknownst to you, you're ostracizing the casual player. And I'm going to compare you to someone else, someone who covers Destiny, Rick Cackus. Rick Cackus, in his videos, I like to watch his videos, and I do not feel as if he's arrogant, saying that you should only use certain builds. He makes suggestions on builds for the raid and raid layers, says this is what he has. Pardon me. There it is. I'm out of pop. I'm out of my drinks. And he'll make suggestions, and then he'll say what's worked for him. Now, while Destiny's PvP is so unbalanced, I hate the Crucible. I hate the Crucible with a God-given passion. The only reason I do the Crucible is to get my powerful engrams. It's the only reason I do it. And I do the bare minimum. I've had one good game in the Crucible where I absolutely wrecked face. one good game. That was it, and that was on Destiny 2. The problem with the Crucible, and this is for another video that I will go, that for those of you who watch this video who are not Stylosa, that I will go into Destiny and why I don't put up, and why I never put up Crucible gameplay regularly on my channel, is because of one grenade launcher that came in with the Curse of Osiris DLC that I absolutely hate, that I absolutely think needs to be either removed from the game or nerfed to uselessness. Some of you might be able to guess what that gun is, and I will go into that in a later video. But going back to Sty and Cactus and the comparison and comparing and contrasting them, they both have one main focus, one major focus, and that is in terms of games. Sty does Overwatch, Cactus does Destiny. Cactus is expanding a little bit, which is great. By all means, good for him. Might not watch the videos of the other games unless I buy them and I go, oh, okay, I like this game. Let's see what Cactus has to say about it. But here's the difference, and here's the very, very broad difference between Sty and Cactus. As I said, I think Stylosa is a bit arrogant in saying that only meta builds and meta comps need to be run. That Overwatch competitive needs to be a certain way. No, it doesn't. You want to stop toxicity? Ban chat. Ban the ability to talk to people. Ban the ability to send people messages that are not on your friends list. Don't let people do it. It happens in World of Tanks too, and you don't see World of Tanks players complaining about toxicity. They just roll with the flow. Some of them are right toxic right back. They've been plucked right off the toxicity tree. And you know what? It's something every game suffers with, and you cannot get rid of it. It's a lost cause. You cannot get rid of toxicity. There's no way to do it unless you prevent people from talking to each other. And then, how are the pro players of Overwatch going to communicate with each other? They're not. It's a blight on the video game world for sure, but it's one that we have to live with. It is a benign. It's like a cancer tumor that just sits there and does nothing. When you talk about toxicity, Sty, you're promoting it. You are making it do something. You are agitating that cancerous tumor and making it grow. And it's eventually going to kill the game. And it's eventually going to kill your channel. Which is the difference between you and Cactus. Cactus is not arrogant. He says, this is what's worked for me. Everybody else has a different play style. This might not work for you. Here are the stats. Here's how I play these classes. Your results may vary. The Mighty Jingles does it too with World of Tanks. It says, this is the stats of the tank. This is how I got my ace tanker in it. Your mileage may vary. And my mileage varies in a lot of tanks. I play World of Tanks. My mileage varies in a lot of tanks. I am not a light tank player. Yet, by the last World of Tanks video I uploaded on my YouTube channel at the time of the recording of this video was a Kolobanov's medal and an AMX-12T, and I suck at light tanks. So, yeah, that one was all down to research and just studying. You really want people to get better at the game, Sty? Give them the information that they need. Say, hey, this is what D.Va can do. Here's how long her defense matrix lasts. Here's how much damage it can block if put up for the full range of 5, 10, 15, 20 seconds, however long it lasts. last. Here's how high she can boost upwards. Here's how far she can boost. Here's the range of her ult. Here's the damage of her pistol when she's out of the mech. Here's the recharge time of her mech when it's destroyed. The stats. If you find the stats, give people the stats. Show people. Maybe that's what your overanalyzed series is. I haven't watched it. I'm going to admit I haven't watched it. But maybe that's what it is. But the reason I haven't watched it is because when you started doing those is the time I stopped watching your videos. Because of the arrogance over competitive. Competitive does not make these games. If Overwatch was only competitive based, everybody would have a rank. All the way from bronze to grandmaster. And you know I had to do research on what the top level was because I don't play Overwatch competitive. Last time I tried to record this video a week ago, I said it was like gold or diamond or platinum or whatever. Forgot about grandmaster, and I've heard you mention grandmaster before in a previous video. Before I stopped watching your videos because of all the toxic competitive gameplay or competitive news you talk about. You want to cover competitive and solely competitive, make a second channel talking strictly about that. But I would suggest, and this is a suggestion from somebody who really is, and I know one unsub doesn't break you. I understand that, and I'm not saying it will. But when enough people unsubscribe because they're sick and tired of hearing about competitive. I mean, how has your subscriber count been? How many subscribers do you gain a day just talking about competitive? Probably not as much as if you would talk about casual or arcade or just cover the news. I subscribed to you because you covered the news. I subscribed to you because you were, alright, this is what's coming into Overwatch. Oh my god, this is the new character. And then I didn't watch anything when Bridget was being announced. Because I knew somewhere in there you would say something about how Bridget will affect the competitive meta. That should not be in the news video. That should not be, oh, Bridget's announced. How will, I mean, maybe make a comment or two, but don't go more than say, now, what does this mean for competitive? I don't know. We'll have to see what it means for competitive. Will it change the meta? Will it not? I'll make a separate video on that. Don't go into the whole, oh my god, she's got this, that, and the other, and she can change the meta totally, blah, 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 competitive. That's not everything Overwatch is about, Sty. It's not. And honestly, the whole talk about competitive and the constant rebalancing of characters and the fact that I have more time played on Bastion and Soldier than any other characters. I have very little time played on support because I suck as support. It's just like I suck at light tanks. I'm not good at it. I have a certain play style, which is why I'm one of the people who is begging for no role select. Let people, the reason this game was made, and Blizzard even said it, people need to play the heroes that they want to play. And yet, every time I hear, oh, top 500 Torbjorn main banned for being a one trick. That goes right back to what I said earlier about being blissfully unaware about promoting toxicity. You don't want people to be toxic? Another way you can fix it: take viewing people's stats off the game, out of the game. I don't want people to know that I'm a Bastion main, or a Tourbillon main, or a Soldier main, or a Mercy main. I don't want people to know. I wouldn't. I mean, would you want people to know if you were only really good at one character? Let's say that character was Sombra, and you put hours and hours and hours and hours into Sombra, but you played the other ones, you dabbled in the other ones to see if you could get better at them, but let's say you had 30 hours in Sombra, only a couple hours, maybe 5 hours in Soldier because he's faster rate of fire weapon, you know, or something else. You don't have that much time in the other characters. And then somebody go and you pick Sombra for a competitive match because you're really good at Sombra and you know how to get in there and disrupt the enemy team who's when they're meta, and you know what your Sombra can counter really well. But your team report you because you don't want to change into a support role because you suck at support. Or you got to the role select screen first and you chose Sombra's role. Bang, right there. And you chose Sombra, and then they're sitting there screaming at you, no, pick Orisa, or pick Tourbillon, or pick Soldier, or pick Diva, or whatever. But you don't want to pick it, and then they report you for being, and then they look at your stats and they go, oh, he's only played Sombra. I'm going to report him for being a one-trick because he won't change. You know? Again, that promotes toxicity. Talking about all the reporting of people and all this other stuff, it doesn't work, Sty. It doesn't work. It promotes it. That's why I don't play Overwatch. Not anymore. Not until I can be assured I am not going to get reported for having more time played on one character than another. I shouldn't have to fear that because the competitive world wants it. So why should we casual players suffer? FPSs. Now, while Overwatch does not have a campaign mode, and while Overwatch main focus is PvP, there is more to PvP than just competitive. If Overwatch was built specifically for competitive, everyone would have a rank. I can tell you where I'd be. I'd be in bronze, because I wouldn't care. Less people would play the game. And then your only subscribers would be the people whose sole focus is competitive, who are hyper-competitive. I really hope you take this video to heart, Sty, because when you cover only competitive, it actually does less for the game than what covering everything does. Compare yourself to Rick Cactus, main Destiny 2 guy I'm subscribed to. Granted, I'm also subscribed to My Name is Bife and another one. I forget his name. Usually does Zer. I forget. Oh my god, why do I forget? There'll probably be an annotation above of his name, unless I think of it here in a couple seconds. Oh my god. Dado. There we go. Dado. Bife, Dado, and Cactus. Subscribe to them. I'm subscribed to Dado purely for the Zerv videos. I'm subscribed to Bife because of the lore. And I'm subscribed to Cactus because of the news and all the other stuff that he talks about the game as a whole. Campaign, Crucible, Raid, DLC, news. Stats of both weapons and abilities. The only thing you've ever covered is news and competitive. At least from what I've seen. I'm not trying to insinuate anything. I'm not trying to say you're a bad channel. I'm not trying to bash you, Sty. I'm not. I'm trying to bring something to your attention that, to be honest, I did go the wrong way about it the first time in some of the comments I've left on your videos. Calling you out angrily for being arrogant. That's when I stopped watching your videos. Your thumbnails and your video titles tell me more about the video than what you say in the videos. Here is the May Mega Buff competitive. Or, oh my god, competitive's broken, please fix. I'm no expert, but when I've seen it before in real life, when somebody goes down a road that ostracizes a majority of people, it never ends well for them. Look at the way U.S. politics are going right now. You got two sides. And I've made a rule I don't talk about politics on my channel. I don't talk about my views. You got two sides. One's fighting for one thing, one's fighting for another. And they're ostracizing half of the other half of the population. When you only argue the case for one thing, you ostracize the other half or more of the player base. Try it, Sty. Try talking about casual. Try not talking about competitive. Just cover the news for the month of April. I challenge you. Just cover Overwatch news. Do your overanalyze thing. By all means, do that. I'll give you a pass on talking about competitive and that. But do not talk about only competitive. Do not talk about toxicity. Do not talk about competitive balance. Do not talk about competitive. Cover the news. Talk about casual. Promote casual as a place to play the other characters, as a place to learn how to play all the characters. And when you give your opinion, state that it is only your opinion, that it is not meant to be the gospel truth. Because the way I hear you talk sometimes, it's like you think you're the Bible. You're not. You think you're the Overwatch Bible, and you're not. And I did not plan to have that. I did not plan it this way. Trust me. The videos, all my vlogs are all improv. This is my Bible. Sits right by my chair. You're not the Bible of Overwatch. Not everything you say is the gospel truth. while it might be close, while it might be the truth, it's not the gospel truth. And there's a difference between the gospel truth and the truth. Cut back on the competitive Sty. Cut back on it. I'm not saying stop playing it. Just stop making that the only thing you cover. If you want that to be the only thing you cover, go ahead and make a video. Tell the people who don't want to hear about competitive to unsubscribe to you. And to subscribe to another channel that strictly covers the news. Go ahead and do that the 2nd of April. Go ahead and do that next Monday. Not this coming Monday, but Monday, April 2nd. That way it's not an April Fool's thing. If you don't want to take that challenge, tell the people who come to you for casual stuff to unsubscribe. And then see how your subscriber base grows without talking about the game as a whole. Competitive might be the shell, but the core of the game is all the players. It's like you crack open an egg and you have no yolk, but you have all the other stuff. Do you really want to ostracize half or more of the Overwatch community by just talking about one thing? I wouldn't. But that's just my opinion. That's just the way I would do my channel. And my phone has darkened again. And I don't know why. So again, if the video keeps going dark, I apologize. Just think about it, Sty. Think about what I've said. Are you going to take my challenge? Or are you going to tell all the casual and non-players who don't play competitive to shove off? It's your choice, man. It's your choice. Those of you who've watched this video, 40 minutes of stuff. Thank y'all for watching. I'll have another vlog up probably tomorrow. Talking about some other things. Thank y'all for watching. I'm Charger Prime. Sty, take my advice, man. Take my advice or just go ahead and fully ostracize me and everyone else who doesn't play competitive. I'm Charger Prime, and I'm out.